Welcome back, Yoshio. Let's jump.
Good morning.
Good morning, Yoshio. Absolutely, let's dive right in. I love giving that picture description. It's got such a nostalgic retro vibe. Now I'm looking forward to hearing your take. After you finish describing that scene, we'll jump into those vocabulary phrases and have some fun conversation around them. Ready when you are.
Okay.
Sounds good. All right. Take your time describing that scene in English. And once you're done, we'll roll right into those vocabulary phrases. I'm looking forward to our chat.
I'd like to hear your description first.
Absolutely. All right. Let me dive in for you. So we're looking at this really charming rustic wooden building, and it's surrounded by lush green tree and this bright blue sky that just makes everything pop. The building is covered in a whole bunch of these colorful vintage signs, old automotive brands, old oil brands. So you've got names like Gulf, Texaco, Exxon, Coca-Cola, and a bunch of really nostalgic stuff that give it an Americana vibe. And then right in front is this little bright yellow Volkswagen Beetle with the number 53 on it, just like Herbie the Love Bug. So yeah, it's a super nostalgic scene that feels like a little time warp into the world of old advertising and classic cars. So that's my take. Now it's your turn to give it a go.
Okay. In this picture, I can see the old big house. It's stand alone. This house has an orange colored roof, and on the roof there is small towers. That tower not chimney, maybe the windows. These towers take in the natural light from outside. And this house wall using the horizontal stripe wooden plate. It's light blue colors, but it's very faded. This
Absolutely.
Isolated house on the crossroad of the
Sure thing, Yoshio.
rural
All right.
crossroad. So it looks like the big family house, but it might be something sharp. I can notice also the yellow car passing the crossroad, and this road is very wide, but no signals. House wall put on the many colorful billboard.
Yeah, exactly. It's almost like the building is wearing a patchwork coat of all these colorful billboards and signs. It's got this really vibrant, eye-catching look. Definitely not something you see every day. Great job jumping in. All right, let's move on to the vocabulary. Let's start at the top of the list. Go ahead and read out the first phrase when you're ready, and I'll share my thoughts on it.
Okay. Get medicine at the pharmacy.
Nice. That's a great start. So the phrase get medicine at the pharmacy is really handy for everyday situations, especially if you're in an English-speaking country and need to pick up any kind of prescription or over-the-counter meds. Plus, it's a perfect bit of vocabulary to know if you're traveling. Great job on that one. Let's keep going with the next phrase whenever you're ready.
Have an immediate effect.
Perfect. Have an immediate effect is a really useful phrase, especially when you're talking about medicine or treatments that work really quickly. It's a handy phrase in all sorts of contexts, basically anything that kicks in right away. Great job. Let's keep rolling through the list.
About medicine, so so much immediate effect is a little fear for me. So the more useful, more gentle. I like that kind of medicine.
Exactly, Yoshio. Medicine is a great, straightforward word that everyone understands, and it's something you use a lot in everyday conversations. All right, let's dive into the next phrase. What's next on your list?
Intensive care.
Absolutely. Intensive care is a really important phrase to know, especially when you're talking about medical situations that need close monitoring and support. All right, let's keep this going. What's the next phrase you have in mind?
Brain death.
Yeah, that's a very serious term, and it's good to be familiar with it for medical discussions. Brain death is a pretty heavy concept, but knowing how to talk about it can definitely help you navigate more complex or sensitive conversations in English. All right, let's lighten it up a bit. On the next phrase on your list.
Organ transplant.
Exactly. Organ transplant is another really important term to have in your vocabulary, especially when you're talking about serious medical topics or even just understanding how healthcare works. It's a great phrase to know. Awesome job going through these. Let's keep going down the list.
Okay, sprain my ankle.
Absolutely. Straining my ankle is a super useful phrase, especially in everyday situations, like if you're telling someone what happened or if you need to explain it to a doctor or a friend. Good job adding that one. Let's keep the ball rolling. What's the next phrase you'd like to try out?
Twist my wrist.
Yeah, that's a really useful phrase too. Hurt my disc or slipped a disc is great to know if you ever need to talk about back issues or explain something to a doctor. You're doing great with all these vocab words. Let's keep this going.
Pinch my thumb in the door.
Ooh, absolutely. Pinching my thumb in the door is a perfect everyday phrase to have handy, especially for those little accidents that can happen. You're doing awesome with these phrases, Yoshio. Let's keep rolling. What's the next one on your list?
Fatal wound.
Yes, fatal wound is definitely a serious term, but it's an important one to know, especially if you're dealing with medical or emergency-related topics. You're doing great by linking out a range of vocabulary here, and I love how you're diving into both everyday and more complex terms. Let's keep the momentum going.
Okay, this vocabulary is last one. Call an ambulance.
Absolutely. Call an ambulance is definitely a crucial one to have in your toolkit. It's one of those phrases that hopefully you won't have to use often, but it's super important to know. Great job working through all these. It's been fun going through this list with you. So tell me, what else is on your mind today?
I have some comment about call an ambulance. In Japan, there's some program called ambulance. So many people easy to call ambulance, not so serious disease. And so
Right.
it's some of big program in Japanese society.
Yeah, there definitely are a few big issues that people talk about a lot. For example, Japan's aging population is a huge topic. It affects everything from the economy to healthcare and social services. And of course, there are always a lot of conversation around work-life balance and how that's evolving. But hey, I'm curious, what's something that you've noticed or that you find really interesting about society these days?
Okay, today's
Absolutely.
time is over. So thank you for everything, today's lessons. So I'd like to see you next morning again.
Absolutely. It's been a pleasure chatting with you today. I always look forward to our conversations, and I'll be right here when you want to pick things up again tomorrow morning. Have a great rest of your day.
You too. Bye-bye.
Take care, Yoshio. Have a good one and talk to you soon.